because young Master Qing Tian says so, all the treasures in the world belong to him? Ji Shuiyue was stunned by his words. He continued, I don't believe that Gu Qing Tian can control everything. In the upper realm, does that mean no one can fight for treasures once they fall into someone's hands? Chen Ningni shouted angrily, an ant dares to speak ill of young Master Qing Tian, seeking death. She immediately shot several rockets at Jiang Chen. Ji Shuiyue waved the jade flute in her hand to block the rockets and shouted angrily, shut up, stop spouting nonsense. Chen Ningni harshly said, good, Ji Shuiyue, this ant dares to offend young Master Qing Tian, and you even protect him. I see you want to be enemies with young Master Qing Tian. Ji Shuiyue hesitated, I will explain to young Master Qing Tian. The sky suddenly cracked open, and a deep voice echoed from within. A huge beam of light shot down to the ground, knocking everyone to the ground. Gu Qing Tian and Yiming Kong appeared. He asked, Miss Ji, what do you want to explain to me? Chen Ningni saw this and happily said, young Master Qing Tian, Steward Ming Kong. Ji Shuiyue's mind shook, thinking, what should I do? Jiang Chen cursed angrily, damn. Bronze little boat comforted, don't panic, stay calm, and adapt to the situation. Chen Ningni reported, young Master Qing Tian, the Ji family found someone who can investigate the Qing Tian Tower, and they want to steal the divine artifact without telling you. Gu Qing Tian responded with a confused oh. Ji Shuiyue stammered and denied, no, we. A beam of light fell in front of her. Ji Niuxing descended and spoke, Chen Ningni, I didn't expect you to like taking credit so much. She was startled, Ji Niuxing, what do you mean by that? Ji Shuiyue exclaimed, brother. Ji Niuxing spoke loudly, we siblings originally planned to take the Qing Tian Tower and present it to young master Qing Tian, which would help him avoid a lot of trouble. But because of your reckless actions, you ruined my plan. Ji Shuiyue was confused, brother, you. He immediately communicated with her through sound transmission, shut up. Gu Qing Tian's strength is terrifying and ruthless. Do you think his title of first generation strongest is just for show? Your intelligence is not enough. If you want to get out of this, there's only one way. Ji Shuiyue was speechless, and Jiang Chen was also full of confusion. Bronze little boat looked thoughtful, I have a bad feeling. Chen Ningni shouted angrily, what do you mean? You still want to talk nonsense in front of young master Qing Tian? Yiming Kong silently assessed, the Ji family's divine son seems calm, but unexpectedly is as cunning as Gu Qing Tian. Gu Qing Tian spoke, brother Niuxing, explain the plan clearly. Ji Niuxing said, the Qing Tian Tower that young Master Qing Tian wants is here, but with our abilities, we cannot retrieve it, nor can we determine its exact location. He pointed to Jiang Chen, and Jiang Chen behind me is a divine Yuan master. With him, we can easily find the Qing Tian Towers location and retrieve it. Jiang Chen was stunned, not understanding. He continued, but Jiang Chen has a grudge against young master Qing Tian, and upon hearing this, he is unwilling to help us. So we have no choice, my sister and I have no other options. Jiang Chen's cold sweat poured down, his face turned pale, and he cursed inwardly, damn it, it's only been this long, and you already sold me out. Jiang Chen clutched his chest and shouted, Miss Chu Yu, I trusted you so much, doesn't your conscience hurt? Chu Yu was so nervous she couldn't speak. Jiang Chen, Che Niuxing shut his eyes tightly, this matter involves young Master Chang'e. How could we possibly be complicit with you? Jiang Chen frowned, veins bulging in anger, and gritted his teeth, good, very good, this world really is rotten to the core. The bronze bead spoke, young master, for now, we need to find a way to retreat to Zishan, maybe there's a glimmer of hope. Gu Chang'e frowned and said, Jiang Chen, this name sounds somewhat familiar. Yu Mingkong just stared blankly, not saying anything. Jiang Chen wiped his face and then shouted, Gu Chang'e, what are you pretending for? He quickly removed his hair in disguise. Mask, shouting angrily, you didn't want to leave us alone, did you? Didn't expect me to still stand in front of you, did you? You despicable, hypocritical villain. Poor Ruoyin, so pure and kind, trusted you so much, yet never saw through your true face. Chu Yu whispered seriously to Chen Yoxing, brother, I think Jiang Chen might be telling the truth. He frowned and replied sternly, what if it's true? Do you still want to reason with Gu Chang'e? Gu Chang'e spoke, so it was you. Back then, I kindly supported you mortals, gave you good food and drink, even found a place for you to settle. Gu Chang'e furrowed his brows angrily and continued, it's just that you were unlucky and were attacked by a ferocious beast. My subordinates got injured because of it. Now you're pushing all the blame onto me. You. Mingkong rolled her eyes helplessly, unable to speak. He shouted loudly, you are really ungrateful. Jiang Chen spread his arms and shouted back, ungrateful. It was clearly your subordinates who attacked us. Chen Yoxing glanced at him, thinking, seems like this grudge is not small, this kid dares to talk back to Gu Chang'e. Jiang Chen continued shouting, pretending to be nice to us, but actually trying to wipe us out. Chen Ningni took a step forward, snorted disdainfully and said, what misunderstanding? A person like young Master Chang'e would bother with. Someone like you, a mortal. Who would believe your lies? It's clearly you, an ungrateful villain, scheming to frame young Master Chang'e. Chen Ningni suddenly rushed at Jiang Chen, flames igniting in her hands, and shouted, I'll take your dog life. Chu Yu hurriedly shouted, Chen Ningni, you. Chen Yoxing dodged and anxiously shouted, you, get away. The bronze bead warned, not good, run. Jiang Chen remained standing there, frowning and clenching his teeth. Suddenly, something emerged from the ground, and the old evil cultivator appeared just in time before Jiang Chen. He struck Chen Ningni's abdomen with a powerful palm, making her tremble violently in pain. Chen Ningni was kicked backward, clenching her teeth to endure the pain. Instinctively, Gu Chang'e reached out to catch the flying Chen Ningni. The headscarf-wearing old woman saw Chen Ningni under attack and urgently shouted, Miss. Just as Gu Chang'e extended his hand, Yu Mingkong tightly grasped his wrist. With one hand holding Gu Chang'e's hand, the other used magic to support Chen Ningni. She smiled meaningfully, this sort of thing, I can handle. Gu Chang'e could only force a smile, cold sweat beading on his forehead. Then, the old evil cultivator dragged Jiang Chen quickly away. Chen Yoxing watched and shouted, there's actually a great sage secretly protecting him. Jiang Chen, being dragged, asked in panic, Senior. The old evil cultivator sternly said, hurry up. Chen Ningni stood in front of Gu Chang'e, clasping her hands in apology, please forgive me, young Master Chang'e. Ningni failed to capture that treacherous person. Gu Chang'e smiled, no worries, who could have guessed that he actually had a great sage backing him. Chen Yoxing walked up to Gu Chang'e and cupped his hands, young Master Chang'e, don't worry. There is no way out. In Zishan, I sensed many powerful ancient creatures inside. He will never escape. Chen Ningni firmly said, Ningni will immediately capture Jiang Chen. Chu Shuyue also saluted Gu Chang'e. Gu Chang'e responded, everyone, the goal of this trip is Changtian Tower. Jiang Chen is not worth worrying about. Chen Ningni immediately replied, all right. Changtian Tower and Jiang Chen, even if I have to dig 3 feet into the ground, I will find them. Chen Yoxing said seriously, young Master Chang'e, rest assured. My sister and I will do our best to find Changtian Tower. After success, we will contact the family and present the Changtian will to you. Chu Shuyue looked at him in shock and whispered, brother, do we really need to go this far? Chen Yoxing quickly responded, spending money to avoid disaster, even mortals understand this logic. Jiang Chen is clearly not simple, if we don't pay a price, do you think Gu Chang'e will let us off easily? Gu Chang'e's eyes brightened when he heard Changtian wheel, and he exclaimed, what? You have the Changtian wheel? That's great. Yu Mingkong helplessly slapped her forehead. Che Nyoxing quickly explained, my sister and I had this plan from the beginning, but we didn't have time to inform Miss Ningni, which caused some misunderstanding. Chu Shuyue lowered her head and remained silent. Chen Ningni thought to herself, this guy also wants to cling to the big shot, and he's willing to invest some resources. Gu Chang'e said, Brother Nyoxing, you're too modest. I've always trusted you. Soon after, Mechanical Nyoxing, Mechanical Chuyu, Chen Ningni, and others flew off in an instant, leaving only Gu Chang'e and Yu Mingkong. She asked curiously, how confident are you about finding the heavenly law? He quickly replied, 100%. She asked again, so confident? He answered, I trust in luck. Yu Mingkong spoke, to be honest, Jiang Chen's assessment of you was quite accurate. He angrily asked. Your husband was attacked, and you're not angry? She calmly replied, wasn't he speaking the truth? The old evil cultivator brought Jiang Chen to a mysterious mountain, and the two walked and talked. He said, thank you, senior, for saving me. I will never forget this in my life. The old man calmly replied, less nonsense. When can you stop making me worry so much? The old evil cultivator angrily shouted, I told you to devour that Ji family woman to cultivate properly. But you wouldn't listen. Now they've sold you out without hesitation. Jiang Chen responded in a daze, I thought they would be different. The old man snorted, you thought? This world is that cruel. Don't you know how terrifying Gu Chang'e is? I can save you once, but I can't guarantee the second or third time. Jiang Chen frowned and said hatefully, I understand now, senior. Once I get out, I will definitely cultivate the myriad transformation demonic art. Old Evil Dao sensed something unusual and continued, this mountain is strange, not only are the rocks extremely hard, but it can also suppress a cultivator's divine sense. We must proceed with caution. Suddenly, a light came from behind them in the distance. Chen Ninger shouted, Jiang Shen, where did you hide? Old Evil Dao turned around and recognized, it's Chen Ninger. Jiang Chen gritted his teeth and said nervously, does this woman want to become Gu Changcao's lapdog? Chen Ninger quickly flew ahead, joining the headscarfed old woman and the red-haired man. She shouted, stop them with all your might. The headscarfed old woman replied, understood, Mississippi. Old Evil Dao hurriedly stepped out and shouted, you run, I'll hold them off, go find a way out. Jiang Chen didn't hesitate and immediately ran off, but he still remembered to say, all right, senior, be careful. He ran into the mountain, and the bronze Shao Chu slowly guided, to the left, little god, to the left, I can already sense the palace's location. He asked, a palace? It replied, yes. Jiang Chen ran into a dead end and said in surprise, are you sure it's this way? This is a dead end. Bronze Shao Chu comforted, don't worry, let me take a look. Bronze Shao Chu slowly appeared from Jiang Chen's body. If I'm not mistaken, this dead mountain isn't from this world, only something like an immortal palace can open it. Bronze Shao Chu flew near the rock wall, I sense the aura of an ancient immortal palace here. Suddenly, a space slowly opened, and Jiang Chen shouted in surprise, it's opened. Bronze Shao Chu urged, hurry over. At this moment, Old Evil Dao was holding Chen Ninger's neck with one hand and the red-haired man's neck with the other. An explosion had just occurred ahead. Old Evil Dao glanced at the shimmering light at the corner of the cave, and just from this, he could understand Jiang Chen's current situation. On the other side, Gu Outing and Gu Suyue were walking. He asked, Suyu, are you mad at me? She replied, I know my brother has his own plans, what can I say? Gu Outing slightly closed his eyes and said, Jiang Chen is no simple matter. Have you ever thought about why he still cultivates at the Shinchu sect with the protection of the great saint? To please us? Do we plan to use this chance to help him deal with Gu Changchao? Gu Suyue glanced at him unhappily. What about the Changtian wheel? We worked hard for it, and now we just give it to Gu Changchao. Gu Outing opened his eyes and sighed, don't you still understand? Gu Changchao collects Chang Tian Qi to access the immortal palaces. Secret treasures. Do you think we can still keep the Chang Tian wheel? If he forces us to hand it over later, it will be too late. Gu Suyue said calmly, brother, do you think too highly of Gu Changchao? I think he's probably not too bad. To his wife. Gu Outing laughed, on this matter, I'm sure the Death Mansion has a higher opinion, right? Suddenly, something made Gu Outing and Gu Suyue widen their eyes in surprise. From somewhere, several giant ancient creatures suddenly appeared. One jumped at Gu Outing and Gu Suyue, attacking them. The two quickly jumped aside. And at the same time, Gu Suyue shouted, brother. He warned loudly, Suyu, be careful, this is the ancient creature I encountered earlier. Suddenly, an ancient creature swiftly extended its hand toward Gu Suyue's face, moving as fast as lightning. She didn't have time to react, staring at its hand. She thought to herself, so fast. Gu Outing rushed over in time and kicked the ancient creature away. He shouted, don't touch her. Everyone following Gu Outing and Gu Suyue had to fight with several ancient creatures. One person was grabbed by an ancient creature and pulled up. He shouted for help, God child, save me. Gu Outing held Gu Suyue's waist, gritted his teeth, and angrily said, this doesn't make sense, why are there so many this time? She also gritted her teeth angrily and looked around. Here, Chen Ninger, covered in wounds, came before Gu Changchao. She tiredly crossed her arms and said, this is what happened. That old guy seems to be a cult cultivator, very strong, I couldn't resist. Sorry. I've let you down, Lord Changchao. The headscarfed old woman also clutched her chest in pain. Gu Changchao smiled and comforted, Miss Ninger did well. Chen Ninger continued worriedly, but it's complicated in the Dead Mountain, he will surely have a hard time finding Jiang Chen in a short time. Gu Changchao still smiled, looks like I'll have to go personally. Yu Mingkong said seriously, I'll go with you. Gu Changchao quickly took Yu Mingkong's hand and smiled gently, Miss Ninger said it's dangerous inside. Mingkong, you should stay outside. She looked at him in surprise. Then he used a sound transmission and said, watch out for any interference, help me keep an eye on things outside. I'll feel more at ease. Yu Mingkong tightly held Gu Changchao's hand and said, then be careful. Saying this seems a bit unnecessary, but still be cautious, after all, your opponent is you. Gu Changge raised his hand and gently stroked Yu Mingkong's nose, squinting and smiling, not unnecessary. She shyly said, what are you doing? I'm not a fairy. Chen Ninger was sweating profusely, feeling too awkward to look directly at them. Then, Gu Changge's figure flashed, and he said aloud, I'll be back in a while. Yu Mingkong glanced at Chen Ninger, who immediately felt fear, cold sweat pouring down, thinking, am I going to be killed? The scene shifted to Jiang Chen. The bronze little spider spoke, indeed, it's the Lord of Heaven Hall. He looked inside with a shocked expression, not believing it. Jiang Chen slowly stepped forward and forced a smile, this is. He stepped into the space outside the palace, and before him stood a solemn and majestic palace. He exclaimed, the Lord of Heaven Hall. On the palace gates, the words, Lord of Heaven Hall, were clearly engraved. The Lord of Heaven Hall was now surrounded by a dazzling and intense golden light. Jiang Chen saw this and broke into a brilliant smile, excitedly shouting, there are so many treasures here. With so many resources, I'll probably be able to open my spiritual sea soon. The bronze little spider immediately replied, don't get too excited, these aren't even treasures, no one is competing with you for them. Jiang Chen retorted, isn't this considered? Then, the bronze little spider quickly moved forward, saying, follow me, the more powerful items are still ahead. Jiang Chen hurriedly asked, what if Gu Changge catches up? It answered, the ancient beings here are not that easy to deal with. On the other side, Ji Shuiyue and Ji Nyoxing were still surrounded by a group of fierce monsters. At this moment, both of them were sweating profusely. Ji Shuiyue anxiously shouted, brother, one is already hard to handle, with so Many, if this drags on, we're finished. Ji Nyushing frowned and muttered, strange, why didn't these things attack?